Howdy Crossroads, and welcome to week 5 of Crossroads Football Live. Wow, it's insane that we already are halfway through the regular season. Some area teams are looking to bounce back after losses, others are trying to keep their win streaks alive, and some are trying to get their first wins of the year. We have highlights from 4 schools, including the East Titans, who are having their homecoming tonight. And before we get to the game of the week, let's go ahead or Tanya, who is at the game of the week, let's check out the highlights. The undefeated Ganado Indians hosted the Shiner Comanches in the game of the week, and the Ganado Indians got tricky a little early. On the opening kickoff, Ganado failed to get an onside kick, and Shiner would capitalize on the great field position with a run to Dalton Brooks, who would have his first score of the day. Quarterback Ryan Peterson looking to make something big happen through the air, and he does, connecting with one of his most dangerous weapons, Dalton Brooks, who flies through the air and into the end zone for his second score of the day. Ganado would be upended on most of their possessions, kind of like this run here, and Dalton Brooks was a man on fire. He would get the call to the pitch to the left-hand side. Once again, once he gets into open field, he's gone, no catching him. Touchdown Shiner, his third of the day, but we're still counting. Things would get worse for Ganado as they have a missed snap, and it ends up in a safety for Shiner. Not looking good there. Now Brooks, like I mentioned, he was on fire, no fire extinguisher around. He gets the pitch again and would outrun everybody for his 4th touchdown of the night. I'm feeling he might be a top contender for the Pepsi Athlete of the Week. One of the few highlights that Ganado had in this game was when Kyle Burris Guerrero hit his receiver in the end zone for the score. The score to that game would be 50-12 Shiner. Ganado will play Kennedy next week, and Bloomington will head to Shiner. We'll see how Bloomington does here in a little bit. Now, before we go to more highlights, let's check in with Tanya Chalikian, who is with head coach Daniel Bedecker for the end of the game. Tanya.
Thank you. I'm here with Coach Daniel Bedecker. Coach, you guys have now won 4 games in a row. How do you hope to keep this momentum going?
Well, it definitely starts in practice. You know, the things that we know we got to take care of as a group and as a team. You know, we talk about it always being about us and how we perform, you know, on Friday nights, and then carrying that over to the next week and try to correct the things that we got to correct. And it's a process. I got to keep getting better every week, and our kids are buying into that, and we're starting to see good results.
What was your game plan coming into this to play an undefeated team?
Well, I mean, we were going to continue to keep doing what we were doing. We had to throw a few wrinkles in, you know, especially defensively against a really good offense. And I thought our kids really stepped up tonight defensively, especially a couple times when they were in the red zone about to score, and we were able to get them, you know, keep them out of the end zone. And then offensively, big plays. You know, that was huge for our offense tonight. You know, Dalton had a really good game. Ryan threw some really good passes for us, but our offensive line did a good job against a good defensive front.
Coach, offense and defense were great, but I want to ask you about your defense. They were able to slow down and stop Kyle Burris Guerrero. Tell me, what was that like?
Well, that's a tough challenge. He's a good football player. You know, he's tough to bring down when he gets going, and the key was to get him before he got going, and I thought we did that. I thought we really got to the football well. We had to get multiple guys there on the tackles because he's tough. So I was really proud of the effort they put together tonight.
Your thoughts on Dalton Brooks and his 6 touchdowns tonight?
Absolutely amazing. You know, that kid never surprises me with some of the plays he can make, and, you know, like I said, definitely lucky to have him on our team, and I'm really proud of him. He's a special player.
Well, thank you, Coach. Congratulations. We also have Dalton Brooks with us right now, coming to join us. Dalton, you had an amazing game. You had 6 touchdowns. Tell me what's going on through your head tonight.
You know, we just come out here and we play for each other, you know. I mean, we're all one team, and I can't score if they don't block.
You guys came into this game knowing you guys had to stop an offensive explosion with Kyle Burris Guerrero. You had some stops on defense. How did you prepare for tonight's game?
You know, me and Kyle, we have history. We used to play together on select teams, so I know he knows me and I know him. So when he was about to run it, I knew it sometimes. And then, like, when they scored on that little one, it was just a blown coverage. And, you know, things happen, and we came in, we prepared, and you can't prepare for when the game comes. So things that happen in the game just happen in the game, and you got to let them happen sometimes.
Now, you guys have won 4 games in a row. How are you hoping to keep this momentum alive?
You know, practice. You know, it starts at practice. It starts tomorrow when we come back up to the lift in the morning. So, you know, it's there. You got to keep it. You got to keep building through the week and keep going.
All right, what are your goals for the next game? I mean, 6 touchdowns. What else can we expect from Dalton?
You know, I mean, I'm going to play. I'm going to give it all I got every time I come out here, so that's what you can expect.
Well, congratulations, Dalton, and great game.
Thank you.
I'm going to send it back to you to the studio, Gino.
Thanks, Tanya. Wow, 6 touchdowns. I thought he only had 4, but I was wrong. He has 6 touchdowns. In the same district as Shiner and Ganado, the Bobcats battled it out in Bloomington. These two met last year, and it was all Refugio. Let's see if it's the same story tonight. The 3-1 Bloomington Bobcats kicked things off, and it was pretty much a lot of the same. Refugio would run it from the start all the way back for the house, and just like that, Refugio is on the board after the opening kickoff. Refugio getting it done on special teams. And take a look at this special throw by Refugio quarterback Keelan Brown, as this travels about 40 yards, and the Bobcats would continue to dominate. On their next drive, a sick one-handed catch following a wall of blockers. No chance Bloomington could bring him down as he rumbles all the way into the end zone. Bloomington not looking like a 3-1 record so far. Speaking of rumble, Refugio running back galloping through the Bloomington defense, breaking tackles, and has nothing but daylight in front of him. Refugio in dominant form tonight. Bloomington suffers its second loss of the season. They drop to 3-2. Refugio improves to 4-1, 55-0. The Bobcats over the Bobcats. Refugio will face Three Rivers next week, and like we mentioned, Bloomington will face Shiner. Now, coming up after the break, we see highlights from Victoria East and West, and both teams are looking to get their first win of the year, including, and I'm sure everyone was there at East because it was homecoming. Then we review how the West Warriors did in last night's game. So grab a drink and a snack, but don't go anywhere because, of course, we'll be right back.
This segment of Crossroads Football Live is brought to you by Frost. It's about more than money.
ABC's 2020. This year honored winner of 2 prestigious Emmy Awards. Thank you for making 2020 Friday night's most watched news magazine.
Palace Bingo is open and our customers' health is our main concern. We installed UV lights in our building for your safety. These UV lights kill harmful germs in the air and combat COVID-19. Plus, our employees have masks on, hand sanitizer stations are available, and we have plenty of room for each of our guests to enjoy. We also sanitize the hall after each session. And don't forget, our UV lights keep the air clean. Palace Bingo, where friends meet friends and friends win money.
Where friends meet friends.
Welcome back, Crossroads. The Victoria East Titans are looking for their first win and could go 1-0 in district this week, and it's homecoming, so the fans were pumped, and of course, everyone and their grandma was there to see this game. On the first drive of the night for the Titans, the team decides to, hey, let's have our homecoming king run the ball, and he takes it on a 3rd and short and sneaks all the way to the touchdown, 73 yards to the house. What a way to cap off a homecoming victory by putting one in the end zone. The Tigers look to strike back with an out route, and number 4 would make the defenders miss, make a move, turn on the burners, see you later. Score is now tied at 7. Williams looking to make some more magic happen in the backfield. He takes the snap, looks to his left, scrambles around in the pocket, goes to his right, throws it up to Mihail Prater, who goes 70-plus yards again for the catch and score. The Tigers would block the extra punt, or extra point that is. Score now 13-7 in the first quarter. The Tigers would go on an impressive drive, looking to answer back, and the quarterback lofts it into the end zone, but it's picked off by Matthew Jackson in the end zone. And we take a look at the homecoming queen, Sarah Castaneda. She's surrounded by her royal subjects. Now let's get back to the action. This next play juked me, the cameraman. Williams rose to his left, throws it to Jakarian Giles, on the screen route, and he scampers into the end zone, giving his team a 19-7 lead. The Carroll defense would come up big again, though, on the extra point and would intercept it and go all the way down, but the homecoming king would say, not on my parade, and stop them just short. The Titans will now have a game on next Thursday. This game is still in the fourth quarter. We don't have a final yet, but Victoria East is looking like they're going to get their first win, 53-7 over the Corpus Christi Carroll Tigers. Like I said, the Titans will have a game on Thursday in Corpus Christi on September 29th. Now the Victoria West Warriors, they had their game last night against another Corpus Christi team in the King Mustangs, and both were looking to get their first victory. On the second drive for Victoria West, Camden Ripper lets it rip and connects with sophomore Jay Steen for the 43-yard touchdown, and the Warriors march to a 15-0 lead. Next drive, Victoria West hands it off to Tyler Gant as he slips his way into the end zone, going up 22-0. Mustangs need an answer, and Brian Gillian fires down the sideline, hits his wide open Nate Reyes, and it's a foot race, and he would shake off tacklers and go into the end zone 22-6. Let's check out that final score. The West Warriors would get their first win of the year, 72-21. This is the most points West has ever scored in program history. And although West had a slow start, they are now 1-0 in district and will look to go 2-0 against Moody next week. This is, like I said, the most points they have scored in their history. Next up, we have not highlighted this team before on the big screen, but they do play here in Victoria on the Field of Dreams football field. The homeschooled Victoria Cobras hosted the Winston Eagles in six-man football tonight. The Cobras were looking to get their first win of the year after starting off 0-3. Their opponents, the Winston Eagles, are also trying to get their #1 win in the books, but the Cobras had a few big plays and also had a couple of hiccups along the way. But in the end, they would turn it around, go on a roll, and they would get the win, the first win of the year for the Cobras, 50-0 by a considerable margin, and it happened in our own backyard. The Cobras will play the Fort Bend Chargers next week. Now we head over to the St. Joseph, the Battle of the St. Joseph teams, and the Flyers would fall 47-40 to the Bloodhounds. The Flyers will face Austin Regents next week. And Calhoun just can't get anything going this year. They fall to Gregory Portland 41-22. Calhoun will have a bye, so hopefully they can get their head screwed on straight and get a victory next week. Now this Cuero game I think is still going on. Oh, sorry, we're going to El Campo. El Campo gets the victory by 10, 45-35 over the Navasota Rattlers. El Campo had a few hiccups early on, but now they seem to get going, and they have a bye next week. Now here's Cuero. It's in the fourth quarter, and they already have 75 points. They beat the Beeville Trojans. Cuero is on bye next week. Let's go to Yoakum now. Yoakum wins 42-15. Congratulations, Bo Robinson. He has won his 200th game as a head coach, and Waco will play Waco La Viga next week. And in the Industrial Cobras, get a narrow victory over the Goliad Tigers, winning 23-22. And the Cobras will play Mathis next week. The Palacios Sharks also get their first win of the year over the Mathis Pirates, 42-22. And let's see if we can get one more score in before we have to head out. The Hallettsville Brahmas lose in overtime to the Southwest Christian Eagles, 35-34. Hallettsville will face Kip Academy next week. Oh goodness, it's been a lot of high-scoring games this week. Next week is week 6 of Texas high school football season. District is in full swing. The teams are beginning to take byes. Oh man, well, that'll do it for Crossroads Football Live tonight. Thanks for watching. If you need a sports score or an update, go to crossroadstoday.com. Our app is free. Good night, Crossroads.